in Auckland, New Zealand. Speaking of views, you can get TradingView paid plans for free at Black Bull Market, saving you up to $600 a year. Get either the Essential, Plus or Premium plans absolutely free. All you need to do is trade from one lot a month at Black Bull Markets. And you can also get a 100% deposit bonus for your first deposit up to $1,000. All you need to do is click the Trading Nut link in the description below. Our sponsor Blue Guardian is the only prop firm that gives their traders a tool to protect them from hitting their max daily loss and over trading. It's super simple to use. Just set the Guardian Protector each day from your dashboard. Did you also know that they've just released an unlimited time evaluation with a 0 trading days requirement, giving you plenty of time to hit their low 8 and 4% targets, making it super fast to get funded. Plus, it's cheaper than the 40-day time limit evaluation. Check out the link and coupon in the description to get 10% off your next Blue Guardian evaluation.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Brinks Trades here, back with another set of breakdowns for you guys. Hopefully you guys had a good trading week, and let's go ahead and get into it. If you guys aren't familiar with me, again, I am shout out to obviously the Trading Up podcast for allowing me to come on board. A 10-year day trader, specialized in trading. Started out in the Forex markets, but now I trade more of indices. Really proficient with both markets and have an understanding of both markets. So I do the weekly breakdowns here for you guys, just kind of giving my thought process and overview for what I think is going to happen in the next weeks to come. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I just want to see, can you guys hear me at all or no? If you can hear me, put some thumbs in the chat. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. That was weird. So blame technology, man. We got to figure out a better solution um for this streaming stuff. So okay, so again, so let me run through dollar index really quickly. That's what I was in the middle of breaking down. If you guys couldn't hear any of that. So again, coming to the weekly time frame. Again, so we wanted to see price really take out these highs on the weekly, and that was kind of our target for this week. We wanted to see price trade lower and really aim for the liquidity sitting over these highs. Um, and so ideally, back in this overall positioning, I don't necessarily think that we are transitioning to an uptrend yet. I think this was just a pullback to take out some liquidity, right? And potentially could go back down. I could be wrong, but that's cool. Um, and so ideally, what I would like to see over the next few weeks is for price to continue on to the downside. So really respect this fair value gap, potentially the midpoint of this order block at the highest, and then continue to go down. If that doesn't happen, then we'll be transitioning back to an uptrend, and I'll be looking for bullish opportunities. But in the meantime, we have to kind of work in the parameters we're given. And so even though long term we think that the market's going to go down on the higher time frames, we're still getting bullish structure on the daily. So we have to kind of respect um, the bullishness that we're getting on the daily and the lower time frames until structure breaks on these smaller time frames. I guess the smaller being the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hourly, etc. So we kind of have to play within the parameters we're given. And so I tell my students all the time that, price is kind of like a grandfather clock, the way that these markets work and operate. And so if you open up like one of those old school grandfather clocks, the big ones, you're going to see like 10,000 gears and they're all turning in their different ways and they're all moving, in their different like, ways, but they're all doing one job, which is supporting the hands on the clock that move right or that move around, right? That you see on the outside of the clock. And price is very much like that, right? So like price, the daily time frame might be in a bullish trend, the 1 minute might be in a bearish trend, the 15-minute might be in a bullish. Like you might see all these different time frames and all these different things, but all they're doing is supporting the price action that you see on these higher time frames. And the daily and the weekly and the monthly are going to be your higher time frames, right? So they're going to give you a better understanding what the overall truer trend is going to happen. But in the meantime, you kind of have to work within the parameters that you're given on those smaller gears or smaller time frames to have an understanding of, not going against the trend. So with that being said, the daily is giving us bullish action, right? So you can't trade against that just yet. So we have to wait for some type of break of structure that we see to kind of play back into that overall bearish trend that we're seeing on the weekly and the daily. So until that happens, I'm still going to be looking for bullish prices on dollar, which means I should be looking for bearish prices on indices and vice versa. But in the minute we get that daily break of structure, those 4 hourly break of structures, that's going to let us know that we're transitioning back into the overall trend. So for this week, there's a couple levels in this day time frame that I like to see. It's this daily volume imbalance here. I want to see price potentially trade back into this zone. Let me get rid of this. So it's not confusing. And then find reasons to go higher on the dollar index. So in a normal market condition, and I was just walking through this with my students, in a normal market condition, we'd like to see dollar have an inverse relationship to our forex pairs that end with the dollar, like Euro USD, GBP USD, and then also indices, right? Because dollar and indices have an inverse relationship because people will take their dollars, take their money, and invest them in the stocks when they want to shield them from depression. So when the value of the dollar goes down, people will throw them into stocks, and usually there's an inverse relationship there. It's like kind of like a basic economics thing, but usually, what's been happening these past couple weeks is the indices have been moving in the same exact direction as dollar, which talks about this idea of divergence. So meaning that if anybody's familiar with the concept of divergence, it's usually okay. When things that are correlated start moving opposite, it usually signals a bigger reverse in the market that potentially could happen on one of these pairs, whether it be dollar, whether it be the indices, right? So I'm kind of expecting a big shift in the market. on at least one pair to make everything kind of correlated again. But as of right now, my normal thought process is usually dollar is going higher. That means indices should be going lower. But right now, since indices are moving higher and dollars moving higher, again, signaling to me that there's potentially some reversal that's going to happen in the market to kind of line things up. But usually this correlation is going to mean a lot less over the next few weeks until this happens. But usually, you make the mental note that, since things that are running concurrently are that are not supposed to be running concurrently or running equivalently, are running equivalently, then you got to kind of make the note that something's going to change soon. So it's usually signaling a long-term reversal in one of the markets. So let me go to the comment section really quickly. Jack Sparrow says, I need a breakdown on top-down analysis. What, I guess you got to be a little more clear with me. I guess, what do you want? You want to know, like, what is top-down analysis, or do you want to see a top-down analysis for a particular pair? I guess, let me know what you're thinking, or what you want with that. So again, let me go. Well, in the meantime, let me go to NASDAQ. And so again, for the purpose of breaking down charts, I know a lot of people are coming here from Forex platforms, and trading as, traditionally Forex, kind of related platforms. So they might be trading NAS100, but I trade the E-mini. I look at the E-mini because it's just a cleaner market. It's sharper, and it's usually the one that the NAS100 is based on. So there's going to be some type of like similarities there. But again, it's basically the same thing as NAS100 if you're trading from a Forex platform, or, US30 is going to be the same as Dow Jones, and US500 is S&P. So coming into last week, I think I did play with these charts a little bit. I had to clean some stuff off. So last week, what we wanted to see is, go back a week. You guys can go back and watch the previous week forecast that we did. So coming into the week, we wanted to see price really take out these highs. And so if I go down to the daily time frame, actually, before I even get there, ideally we wanted to see price really respect what's going on with this imbalance here. Make this green for visuals. So we wanted to see price really respect what's going on here, and then really look for opportunities to continue on to the top side again, because when we're in this type of trend where price is just strictly bullish, we have to kind of, even though, I feel like a lot of people just have a natural inclination when stuff just goes higher, they get fearful of the trend and they just want to find ways to short it, or they think in their head, okay, it's been going up for way too long, so now we need to find opportunities or reasons to short, and kind of trade, basically play, trade themselves out or psych themselves out of the trade. We have to continue running with these bullish trends, especially when the market's trading at all-time highs. Usually the market will go higher than we think it will, before it starts to look for a reverse. And so, you don't ever really want to trade against these all-time high trends that we're currently experiencing. And eventually when the market's, and I've said this before, I would love to see the market go bearish because it gives me more targets, but we're just not there at that point yet. So coming into the week, what I wanted to see was price take out this all-time high. That was kind of my target for the week. If we look at the daily time frame, I shouldn't have deleted that. I should have just edited that. There was a couple of things that I wanted to see here. So there was a volume imbalance that was sitting here. And again, if you guys go back and watch last week's episode or last week's call, you can see these things play out. So there was a volume imbalance here. I wanted to see price retest the zone and really give us an opportunity to continue to go long. Something like this is what I wanted to see. And then ultimately, I would have been looking at the high of last week as the initial target, which is this high here. But ultimately, since these highs were very close together, I wanted to see price take out the all-time high. And then so if we look at what actually happened over the past week, That's exactly what we got. So we traded back into this volume imbalance to start the week off on Monday and Tuesday. I took my first losing trade of the day on Tuesday. Or I'm sorry, first losing trade of the year on Tuesday. I guess first losing day. I've taken losses, but the first losing day, like overall red day of 2024 in on Tuesday, because I was kind of anticipating this a little bit sooner. I didn't think we are going to poke back down in here again once we did initially. So it's exactly what we got. But ended up course correcting and correcting on Wednesday with a $5,000 day on my futures account, and and a couple of the moves that happened later on that day that I'll probably drop in my Telegram chat if you and just to kind of review later on today. So if you're not in my Telegram chat, again, please join it. It's definitely got some good nuggets in there and just good motivational stuff throughout the week. Shameless plug, but I'll go ahead and drop this link in there again. So okay, so yes, we wanted to see price, and that's inevitably what we got. So if we go down to these, obviously stay on the daily time frame, we retraced into this volume imbalance and then really took out these highs, the all-time highs. And so we were pretty happy with how that turned out. I was pretty happy with how that turned out. And so going down to the daily time frame, again, we have to kind of look, if we look at this from daily time frame, I guess at least, we have a high here. Obviously, this is kind of going to be our target. We know that there's going to be liquidity at these levels that we want to reach for. And so there's a couple levels that I'm going to be noting. Again, if we jump back to the weekly time frame, sorry, I'm all over the place today. So ideally, I don't think we're going to go this low, but levels of note that I want to see price potentially trade into. I want to aim for our all-time high, which is going to be our target for the week. If we don't, or if we take out that high before, I guess on Monday or before I'm ready to really look for my setups, then just once we take it out, then I'm usually flat for the week. And so I was talking to one of my students yesterday about how, or on Thursday in my mentorship chat, about how when the high is taken out, it doesn't matter when that is, but when our initial high is taken out, then usually you should probably be flat for the week, especially if it happens later on in the week, like a Wednesday or Thursday. And there's specific reasons for that it would take me like hours to explain here. But just that's kind of how I approach the market. So if our high is taken out very early in the week, then I'm usually going to be flat for that week. Or just very, very short-term scalping opportunities. But once my target is taken out, my higher time frame target is, I'm usually done, and I don't find another reason to trade for that week. So ideally, what I want to see here is I want to see price respect these few levels. First level is going to be 17,068. And so when I say I respect these levels, I really would like to see price not trade below them. To maintain this bullish trend. Second level is going to be 17,550. Get rid of this and this. And so I'm just going to make the note here that I want to see price it's really this level, and oops. this fair value gap. And within this fair value gap, there's a few levels that I would want to see respected. Again, my students are going to know what inside of that I would like to see respected. So if they don't, feel free to ask me after the call. But just for time's sake, I want to see those levels respected on the higher time frames. If we dive down to the daily, let's see. These are the levels that I want to see. Ideally, I would like to see price kind of return. Actually, let me hold on. I just walked through this yesterday. If I'm looking for the week to start off, this is what I want to see happen. I would like to see a couple of things happen. Sorry, I'm doing these analysis in real time. So before Sunday or Saturday at 10 a.m., or 9 a.m., I guess, Eastern Standard Time, I don't look at the charts before. So I'm usually doing this stuff in real time. There's two levels that I want to see here respected. So ideally, this fair value gap that happens at 17,792. I'd like to see something like that at the worst case scenario for this week play out. I don't think we'll go as low as the volume imbalance here, looking at this in the daily time frame. But I do have these levels noted just because they're important levels in the weekly. So let me go ahead and change this so it's a little bit clearer. Daily. Right. So I want to see this respected. A secondary level I want to potentially see is the fair value gap that will form after Monday's close, which will probably be somewhere inside of this 4-hour fair value gap. So, and this will be at 17,000, or I'm sorry, 18,031 and runs to 17,978. So ideally, I want to see something. Best case scenario, I want to see price trade into this gap over Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then look for these highs to get taken out, continuing on. If we get a deeper retrace, which I love deeper retraces because it gives me more room to target for my targets for the week. The deeper the retrace, the more opportunity you have to catch a trade to your potential target. But the first scenario that I'll be looking for is somewhere in this gap or somewhere inside of this daily fair value gap, which we won't really know the range on it until Tuesday because fair value gap is a 3-candle play. So this is Friday, this is Thursday, Friday, and then Monday's candle, wherever that closes, that'll give us the range for the fair value. And so ideally that it'll be probably somewhere in this zone. Probably somewhere in this zone is probably where I'm looking at. But the biggest, I guess the worst case scenario here is I would like to see price trade down to 17,991, and that's without seeing what happens on Monday's candle. So I kind of need a little bit more information to kind of get a better level for where we're going to go. But ideally, I'd like to see price, quickest scenario, best case scenario, trade somewhere in here. The deepest scenario is probably the best scenario to actually trade, but it would be somewhere in this range. So I'd like to see price pull back to one of these levels and then really take out the high at that point. Sell side post. All my red days come after. Lamb says sell side post. Let me, explain a little bit more, man. I think I know what you're getting at, but go ahead and drop it in the chat if you want to. Michael Brown says all my red days come after being up. I need to work on closing shop after my initial win. So what you guys want to do, and this is for me, this took me a long time to get. I recently did an interview on a different YouTube channel, and I told, like, my personal strategy for the week is I only look to really gain 1 or 2% a week on my accounts, and that doesn't seem like a lot, but when you start trading bigger numbers, it is a lot, but it also kind of helps me put a frame on reference. And so I have really strict rules. The more I go with my trading journey, the longer I trade, the more and more that I've put more rules on the managing the psychology aspects of how I trade. Because to be honest, you can probably be profitable with any strategy, right? Like you can have a strategy that wins 30% of the time, right? And if you manage your risk right, you can walk out profitable at the end of the week, right? But not saying that all strategies are created equal, because they're definitely not. But if you have really good risk management, sometimes a strategy doesn't matter. You can grow an account. But um the longer I go with my trading journey, the more and more I put rules on my risk management, my targets. Like I take usually 2 to 3 trades a day during my certain days that I am on the charts. Um, and sometimes there's not opportunities in those days to trade, and if there's not, then I just close the laptop. But putting a cap on this, a lot of times, like if you think about your traditional job, right? You have a boss, and your boss gives you rules of engagement for your job. It's like, okay, do this, but do it in these parameters, and I want this done, right? And so a lot of times, like when we transition to being are an entrepreneur in this sense, right? Day traders are entrepreneurs. We're making our own money. We don't really put rules on our rules to engagement for the markets, right? We just think, okay, I'm gonna hop in, I'm gonna get a couple trades. I made money. Okay, cool. You guys got to frame this out like a business. So like I have a yearly goal that I'm trying to hit. I have weekly goals that I'm trying to hit and daily goals that I'm trying to hit when I trade. And so, that helps structure my trading a little bit better. And so it kind of helps with me not trying to overtrade, because that used to be a big thing for me. And so when I did that other interview that I was just talking about, like I said that, hey, like I only really try to trade 1 or 2 days a week. And people like were in the comment section for the interview were like, I don't know, they're like clowning me, I guess, because they're like, if you have an edge, you need to push it, keep pushing it until you take a loss. And I was like, the thing that you're not realizing here is that this is how I manage my psychology, right? So for me, I have a tendency to want to overtrade. Like I want to get in the trade, and if I make money, I'm like, okay, cool, I need to go back in and do it again. And so like I've had, just like Michael said, like I've had these red days after being up, and then I'm sitting at the keyboard or at the computer at the end of the week, and I'm just mad because it's like, man, I was up 3 grand this week. Why did I give it all back? And so, like for me, I once I hit my goals for the week, whether it could be my weekly target that I'm trying to hit for the week, or I hit, the amount of losses that I can take in a day or a week, or I hit, my weekly target goal that I'm trying to hit financially, that I'm done. Like on Wednesday, and I talked about this to my one of my students. After I hit my 5K day or 5K trade, I took one more setup later on that day. Um, for on my challenge accounts that I'm trying to pass. And if you guys aren't familiar, in the Telegram that I have, I outline, like I'm walking through everybody, showing everybody kind of like the realities of being a trader and like the ups and downs and what it takes to actually pass a challenge. And so I've been outlining that for like a lot of people, and just being totally transparent with the journey. So in the morning, I took a personal trade on my personal account, and then the afternoon setup, I took a trade on my challenge accounts. And once I hit that, I was done for the week. I was done for I didn't look at the chart Thursday or Friday. I just closed it, and I just went about my business, right? Like, so I think being able to realize that this is a business transaction that you're doing, and once you hit your goals, it's done. If you were at your job and you hit all of your assignments for the week, your boss didn't give you anything else to do, you're probably just going to pull out your phone and get on YouTube, or whatever whatever your thing is, right? Like if you're done with everything, you're probably going to relax. You're not, maybe you'd find more work, but a lot of people are just going to go about and just chill for the rest of the week. And that's what you need to do with this. So Michael, or anybody, really just being structured with your goals and being structured with how you approach um, your wins, your losses, your targets, having all that stuff in place is is helpful. And yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. So focus. I don't care about the P&L. I just care about my targets. And I know that if I manage my risk right, then I'm going to do my job. And I think a lot of times people focusing on the money so much is crazy detrimental. Like when I'm in my trades, the only reason I start looking at price, the actual, like how much money I'm up or down, is if I'm really close to my stop loss is getting hit, or if I'm well in profit and I'm just trying to figure out, maybe I let my trades run a little past their target, and I'm just trying to move my stop loss up to manage that trade. But I don't care about the money. I just care about the process, and you just have the process over and over and over again. Samp, so show us a back test of a trade you take. You know what? I'm gonna upload. If you guys hop into Telegram. Telegram's free. I have a couple videos that I'm gonna upload today that are going to show my thought process on trading and the back testing. I don't have time to do it now, and I'm not running from it. I have no issues with it being transparent. But hop in that chat, and I'm gonna upload at least one video. There's three of them that I made this weekend. I recorded, and I'm just editing them. But hop in that chat today, and you guys will probably see something this weekend about the trades that I took. Since I'm only really taking like 2 or 3 trades a week, especially if I hit my goals. Yeah, I usually hit my goals like a day or two for the week. So I only have a few trades. I'm trying to like focus each week on like editing and getting those videos out about the trades that I take. So I don't have time to do it now because there's a lot of thought process here that goes into that. But join the Telegram. Again, it's free. It's not going to cost you anything. And I'll have a video uploaded sometime this week. So yeah. But okay, so yeah, so that's that's at NQ. So ideally, I'd like to see price trade back to either this level, that's this fair value gap that potentially will form somewhere between 18,025 and 17,980, or the secondary one here at 17,799. So let me go to ES real quick. Same thing really on ES. We're trading at all-time highs. So like all these indices are going to move very, very similarly. And if they aren't moving in the same direction, it's a good sign that, again, divergence, something's going to play out in reverse. So my target for this week is going to be the same thing, really the high of last week, because that's our kind of known liquidity level. So I'm going to jump down to the daily time frame. I'm going to get rid of this because I don't know what this is. And sorry, these are the charts that I actually trade. So like sometimes I get a crazy amount of messy in my charts. So again, kind of noting what we wanted to see last week. I believe it's a very similar setup. We wanted to see this high was our target for the week that we wanted to see taken out. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, this high was the high of last week that we wanted to see taken out. Again, I deleted this off of here, but just go back and watch last week's video if you guys want, I guess, more proof. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So this is high of last week. So again, we wanted to see the high last week taken out right here. So this was our target. So again, we wanted to see price trade lower, and it gave us that. Going back to the weekly. Yeah, we traded back into that and then went down. So moving forward for this upcoming week, what I want to see here again is we don't fight the bullishness trend. This is a very special situation that we're in. We don't want to fight the bullishness. So I'd like to see ideally for price to trade a little bit lower. Into these zones. really take out this high. I would love for price to respect a few levels here just off of first glance. Midpoint level here, consequent encroachment at 4,972, which looks like it also lines up. Doesn't line up. Consequent encroachment of this wick here at 4,090 and 63. I don't think we'll get as low as that order block, to be honest. Going to the 4-hour, I'm not really seeing much. Okay. So these are the levels that I want to see price trading. So I would like to see price retest this. Best case scenario, if we don't get this, like if price takes out this high before any of this happens, then just flat for the week. So price, I want to see price trade into this zone here and then really retest these highs. Again, this fair value gap begins at 4,986 and runs to 4,958. So again, I want to see price retest this level. So let me go to the comment section. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so yeah. And then SAP, going back to SAP's question about the live accessor trade, all of my trading is done on smaller time frames. So like this big outlook just kind of helps me give me a bias that I want to see for the week. But my actual executions are done on way smaller time frames. And I outline all that to everybody again in my mentorship. But I will probably again post a couple videos on the main chat, the public chat today, or between today and tomorrow. So again, want to see this happen. And then let's go to Dow Jones. Dow Jones is a little less clear to me, and if you guys know, I don't trade this one specifically. I just kind of measure it and project it to kind of give me a barometer of what's going on in the other two. The only one that I actually personally trade is NASDAQ, but I mean, this is probably just me, it's a personal thing. Like I have a hard time focusing on multiple things, multiple charts at the same time. So I only really look to trade one, and I use the other ones to monitor. I kind of like to see how price is doing. So I personally trade NASDAQ, but I've seen people trade. Obviously take the strategy, take the ideas, and trade Dow Jones, and I have taken trades on them in the past. It's just I prefer to take trades on NASDAQ versus S&P. And Dow Jones is just a little more volatile. So when stuff really hits your target, hits your target. Here, this is not as clear to me, to be completely honest. I don't like. Yeah, I don't like how we're. Yeah, I don't like how we're respecting consequent encroachment. This is one I'm going to tell everybody to like just stay away from this week. I don't like. I mean, ideally, it would flow in correlation with the rest of them, but I don't like how we traded above this high and then came back down to respect the consequent encroachment. So I'm just going to tell people to stay away from this one this week. And again, obviously it's not trade advice. It's just my outlook. Like I would personally, like if I was trading this, I would personally stay away from this. There's just a couple things that I don't like that are kind of lining up, but ideally we would want to see this go bullish. But yeah. So yeah, so that's actually all I got. So I'm actually bullish on dollar and bullish on indices at the same time, which is again due to like divergence play. Again, it signals that we might see some type of reversal in the market on something very soon. Yeah, bullish on US30. Oh, well, ideally should be bullish on US30. We'll see. But again, I personally would stay away from that because I'm not I don't trade it, and two, I just don't like some of the things that I'm seeing. So I'm not even gonna break it down any further. But me, I'm bullish on NASDAQ and I'm bullish on S&P. So I will stick around for any questions that you guys have, if you want to drop them in the chat. Yeah, let me know from there. Again, shameless plug. Join the chat, especially Seep or Samp. If you want to see some of those trade outlooks, feel free to jump on there and do that, and join that. So again, I'll stick around for a couple minutes if you guys have any questions, and let me know. Okay, not seeing anything, so if you could typing it in, last chance. And yeah, you guys, and if you have questions and I end the stream, you guys feel free to hop on Telegram, in that chat. Hold on. So Erie said, Yaul says, when I do a swing trade, oh shit, why didn't I take this order like a scalper? The market just eats my stop loss over and over again, like liquidity doesn't respect it. So without knowing your particular setup, it would be hard to know, but it kind of depends on the asset class you're trading. It depends on what instrument within that asset class you're trading. So a lot of times, some of these, if you're doing a swing trade, a lot of times you see like kind of double grabs in liquidity. Like some of the yen pairs, they love re-grabbing levels or retesting levels that they've already kind of grabbed liquidity from. So that might be a reason why that happens. But without knowing your particular setups, that's kind of hard to know. But the market does kind of like taking out people who are right before it goes in the right direction. That's the kind of the easiest way to explain it. So without, again, and that might just be something that you might just be more comfortable, being a day trader versus swing trader, right? So I'm not a swing trader at all. I'm a day trader. Like I love to get the feeling of getting in, finding my positions, getting out, right? Because me personally, I'm an overthinker. It's just, you kind of have to know your own personality while you trade, right? So I'm an overthinker. I am habitually looking and thinking about what could go wrong in positions, right? And that's just me. It's my own personal flaws, right? So me being in a trade for like a week or a few days, even, like I'm gonna be crazy, like obsessed with it. I'm gonna be pulling out my phone at all random times. The market could be closed. I'm still pulling out my phone, seeing, okay, am I still there? So I know for me, I don't swing trade. It's just not my personality type. And if you find that, you're in swing trade setups, and they're just not working for you, just, day trade or scalp or something short term, because it seems like you're initially hitting you're initially hitting profit, but the market's just coming back to your stop loss, which makes a lot of sense, based on how the market moves. So if it were me, I would probably transition maybe to a day trader or just a scalper and see if you can take those and be a little bit better. But you also got to kind of think about your own personality too. Can you handle being in short-term positions? Sometimes they give people anxiety. So which indicator is good? So Goldie, I don't trade with indicators. I don't use indicators at all. The only indicators I would ever use are other charts to kind of give me correlation. That's it. I don't use indicators. Like when I first came in, I used to use MAs. I used to use RSIs, MACD, like all that stuff, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work in the long term, and you're better off once you understand how to read a price chart, a naked chart. You don't need any of that stuff. So my advice to you is learn how to read a chart without the indicators, and you'll be okay. Or find somebody who is a mentor or teacher who can teach you how to read how the market delivers price. Yeah. So time frame. AJ says time frame. I don't know what you mean by this. So I don't know if you're asking me what the time frame is on this channel or on this particular screen I'm looking at, or like what time frames I trade on. I guess what are you asking me? Okay, well, that's cool. Again, I think that's all the questions. Again, if you guys have any questions at all, find the Telegram, find me in the Telegram. Again, it's if you want to join that free analysis chat, I'm the only person that posts in there, so it's all me posting in that chat. So you can just literally message me on Telegram. Okay, hopefully you guys have a good week, and I will talk to you next week. See if everything we wanted to see played out. Peace.